Hey everyone, how you all doing? Good morning. My name is Bami, founder of Inspire to Soar Limited. My passion and my mission is to tend the broken wings of your dreams so that you can be inspired to soar above your troubles. If this is your first time of joining me or watching this video, welcome. And if you're a returning guest, welcome again and thank you for joining me. So for those of you who have followed this page, or even if you haven't, I have this mad business mentor. I call him the mad mentor for short. Now, the first time I introduced you guys to him was probably a couple of months ago, and I haven't spoken about him since then. And you might be thinking, okay, what's that got to do with anything? You see, this guy is always pushing me to be better, pushing me to be a better version of, to bring all of myself to be better, and also, like, it gives me advice on how to be better at what I do. So it's fair to say that he's one of those people who really challenges me. Now, is it something I'm comfortable with all the time? Not necessarily, because it pushes me in those areas where I have the tendency to just want to shrink back a little bit or be more conservative and all of those things. So that's why I'm talking about him this morning. And he's one of those guys who's just, his thinking is just crazy but effective, and he has the results to prove it in business. So he's worth listening to, right? But sometimes I just want to scream at him and all that stuff. So I've been talking about this month being the audacious month. And you know what? I think, this is just me, but I think being audacious can also be equal to vulnerability. Vulnerability and audacity. I'm sure you must be thinking, what have the two got to do with each other? They're, at least if you're looking at the definitions, it might seem that they're polar opposites. But here's the thing. In order to be audacious, I've realized that choosing to be vulnerable and following through with being vulnerable is actually one of the most audacious things I can do. And in actual fact, like Brené Brown said, this Brené Brown, who's a researcher he was a social researcher, she said that vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation. It's the oh, sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my connection. So like I was saying, Brené Brown, who's a social researcher, she said that vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation and some of the biggest things we could ever do, and that is the thing. So I've been thinking about this whole thing about being vulnerable, and of course being challenged by the mad mentor that, I need to be more open, be more vulnerable and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, thanks, whoever it is that's joined me. And I'm thinking, I thought I was being vulnerable enough. I thought I was being bold enough. I thought I was being open enough. But deep down, of course, I knew that I could go further. I knew I could go further and everything. So I'm going to talk to you about one of those things that I didn't think I was going to talk about this soon. I started a new job last month. So this new job, I'm doing it alongside with running Inspire to Soar Limited. And you know something, because I hadn't worked for an employer, quote and unquote, for like about a year, because I'd been working for myself 100% of the time. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure what kind of people I was gonna meet and everything like that. But because I went through the agency, I thought, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'll go there after agency staff. If I don't like it, if it's really horrible, I can always ask for the agency to reassign me. So I've been there now and here's the thing, when you go into a new environment, I don't know about you, but it takes time to study people. It takes time to get to know the dynamics of how things work and all of those things and everything like that. And it takes time to get to figure out what role you're going to play and everything like that. But the one thing I made up my mind even before I went was that I was gonna go without any masks because I've promised myself no more masks, no more trying to be somebody that I'm not. I'm just gonna be all of myself. And they either love me or they don't. It doesn't matter in the large scheme of things. I will go there, I will be who I am, I will give my very best. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to going into a new work environment or changing roles, changing offices and things like that. And you're trying to find your place and you're wondering, am I going to fit in? Are they gonna like me or whatever like that? But you know the truth of the matter, I think the question about are you gonna fit in, I think that's a wrong question to ask. You're not meant to fit in. Not in the sense of being like everybody else. Yes, there will be a code to work to, there will be a code of conduct and all of those things which you have to comply by, yes. But you're not meant to fit in and be like everybody else. And that's one of the things I try to bring to every single thing I do. I don't have to be like anybody else. I've always said, I'm like Marmite. You either like me or you don't. I don't go out of my way to be obnoxious because that's just not on. I go out of my way to try and be helpful, to be kind, to be respectful and all of those things. But at the same time, I will also be me. So if I have an opinion and there's an opportunity to voice it, trust me, you will hear about it. And that is the thing, in talking about this new job, recent job that I've started and everything like that, it's me being vulnerable because I didn't think I was going to do any day jobs again. Because when I started my business, I thought that was what I was going to do 100% of the time. I didn't think I would go into any more day jobs. I didn't think I was going to be working for an employer again. But here's the thing. At this point in time, it's what I need to do for financial reasons, for all sorts of reasons. So, rather than grumbling about it, or rather than being grumbling and all of those things, I knew I would embrace this season with grace, embrace this season with gratitude. How's that? Gratitude that, okay, I have the opportunity, I have the strength, I have the energy to at least to go out there and work for an employer. And fortunately for me, this new workplace I've gone to, it's a lovely environment to work in. The people are kind and all of those things. And of course, every workplace has its own different dynamics, some good, some not so good. Because we're not perfect. We live messy lives, we have messy lives. And wherever, especially in workplaces, we bring all of these things, either subconsciously or subconsciously. We bring all of these things, our messy lives and everything, we bring it to work. And that is why it is so important to know that, you know what, rather than trying to fit in at all costs, the best thing to do is just be you. And that is actually the most audacious thing, because let's think about all sorts of workplaces that I've ever worked in, that you've ever worked in. A lot of times the biggest problems, the issues that we have, most of the time stem from people wanting to fit in at all costs and trying to be like other people, even though when they know that deep down that's not who they are. So my thing to you this week about being audacious is about being vulnerable, because I'm being more vulnerable this morning with you guys. But being vulnerable for me this morning as well, it's part of being audacious. So this is still in keeping with this audacious month. Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation and all of those things. But it is scary, but it is also the most audacious thing you can do, because it means that you're not afraid of failure. Okay, so what if I told you now? So what if I told you about this new workplace thing or whatever like that? What if you think, oh, what's she talking about? Who cares about who cares about the workplace? Who wants to talk about the workplace? Well, that's fine. There are some people who want who would like to hear about what I do, who would like to hear about my workplace and all of those things. And there are those of you who are in different workplaces and you're trying to find your footing, you're trying to find your place. Can I implore you, go there as yourself. Go there as the best version of yourself, as good a version of yourself as you can manage, okay? Because that is what that will be the most audacious thing you can do. Don't be afraid to show who you are. Don't be afraid to open up your mouth and use your voice when it's necessary. Because even people who are shy, those of you who are shy, who are introverted, of course, that cannot be used to apply to me. But for those of you who are shy, who are introverts, the fact that you have those character traits does not mean you have a voice. You have a voice, you have a valid voice that the world needs to hear. It might be a quiet voice. You can make it a strong voice nonetheless. You can make it a firm voice nonetheless. And bring the best of you. And yes, some people will like you, some won't. The ones who don't like you, you can still have an amicable working relationship with them. And of course, once you finish your work for the day, you go home and you have your loved ones who you can connect with, who you can work on connecting with better and have a fulfilling life. So it doesn't have to be an either or. It doesn't have to be like, you want to give every appearance of being strong so that people think you are really strong. But that's not the true test of strength. Not in the large scheme of things. The true test of strength is not being afraid to show your weakness. Not being afraid to open up about things that you would not necessarily want to talk about, like this transition I'm going through right now. But I hope that this week you will go into your week and remember that vulnerability is also part and parcel. It's a crucial part of being audacious. It's a crucial part of taking a risk, because showing your vulnerability, of course, it's a very risky move, because there will be people who will want to dismiss you. There will be people who want to put you down. That's their loss. That's up to them. It's not something for you to worry about. It's not something for you to carry around like it's a baggage of yours. So go into this week, be vulnerable, be present, be the best version of yourself, and know that in doing so, you are an audacious person. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you about whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in amongst your friends, whether it's in your personal life, in any area of your life where you have been vulnerable. And in being vulnerable, it was a scary thing. It was a scary thing, it was a risky thing, but you knew what you had to do. In that respect, you've been audacious, but can you share with the rest of us what you have learned? One thing you have learned through being vulnerable, and vulnerability leading you to being audacious. And I promise you, the more vulnerable you are in those areas, the more audacious you will be, the bolder you will be, the more fulfilled you will be in your life, because then you're not living for the opinions of others. Then you're not living for the approval of others, and you're just living your best life. Okay. For more inspiring videos, please visit the Inspired to Soar YouTube channel. The link is in the comments. And also, can you check out my book, Navigating Your New Normal? It's a roadmap for life fulfillment after trauma. So if you've gone through any traumatic event and you want to move beyond drudgery, you want to move beyond mere survival, that is the book for you. So the link is in the comments. Head over to Amazon and get your copy. And for those of you who've read the book already, can I ask you to pass it on, to pass the message on, to recommend it and tell them about what you've learned from it, the positive thing you've got from it. So until the next time, be inspired to soar, and remember, being vulnerable is also being audacious, and don't let anybody tell you any different. Take care and have a good day. Bye.